I can tell you that in 7 days, when they emerge at the end of 7 days, their biology has changed so much that it looks like they're living in a whole different life. That every time you learn something, you're making a lot of connections in your brain. 1 hour of focused concentration on one concept, one idea, doubles the number of connections in your brain if you're present with that information. There's physical evidence in your brain as a result of information in your environment. The brain is mapping information neurologically. If you don't repeat it, if you don't think about it, if you don't review it, those circuits prune apart within hours or days. So if learning is making synaptic connections, then remembering is maintaining and sustaining that information. And people have to think about it because it's so much easier to forget this information than to remember it. So what we discovered is if you set up the conditions in the environment and you give people the proper instructions, if they can get their behaviors to match their intentions, if they can get their actions equal to their thoughts, if they get their mind and body working together, they should have a new experience. And the experience then causes jungles of neurons to be organized into more complex networks. That's what experience does. And we understood that the more the person can understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, the how gets easier, and they'll assign meaning to the act. And when they assign meaning to the act, they switch on the prefrontal cortex, the crowning achievement of the human being. And when that occurs and the person actually has the new experience, the end product of the experience is called a feeling or an emotion. The moment you feel unlimited, the moment you feel free, the moment you feel abundant, you are teaching your body chemically to understand what your mind is intellectually understood. So knowledge is for the mind and experience is for the body, and we're embodying the truth of the information. The information is no longer in the brain. The information is actually in the body now. And the person's changing their genetic destiny. If you've done it once, it must mean you should be able to do it again. And doing it over and over again, neurochemically, neurologically and chemically, begins to condition the mind and body to begin to work as one. When you've done it so many times that you no longer have to think about it, automatic, it's second nature, you've mastered that knowledge, you've become that knowledge. You're in a new state of being. It's innate in you. It's who you are. So to answer your question, we gotta go from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning it with your head, applying it with your hands, knowing it by heart, to believe, to behave, to become. And I can sit up here with you and I can tell you that in 7 days, if people go all in and they immerse themselves in the content, when they emerge at the end of 7 days, their biology has changed so much that it looks like they're living in a whole different life, a whole different environment. And they're making pharmacies of chemicals that work better than any drug. That we've actually mapped them, we've discovered them. It doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter how sick you are, doesn't matter how healthy you are, how rich, how poor, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. And when you get collective groups of people together doing it all at once, we discovered that people change people. And the only way we're going to change this world is we got to change us. People have to change. And when enough people change, I think that's the moment that who we are as a species of human beings begins to awaken. You know, the part of us that's kind and caring and loving and present and honorable and noble and empowered and giving and caring and healing. That's who human beings are when they're not living in stress and living in survival. Get a group of people doing that collectively, and I can tell you all kinds of crazy things not only go on in a person's biology, but in the energy of the room. And I want people to know that they're greater than they think, that they're more powerful than they know, that they're more unlimited than they could ever dream. And all I want to do is give people my greatest understanding of the truth, and then numerous opportunities to experience it. And sooner or later, they'll run into something really big. They start believing in their future more than they've been believing in their past. And the side effect of that, then there's outcomes, miracles, that has changed my belief about possibility in the last 2 years. I'm not the same person because the people that are doing it look just like you. And they come from all over the world. And yeah, a lot of them had to go up against their own health conditions. And they stood on the stage at one point with stage 4 cancer, no evidence of stage 4 cancer. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, numerous times. That's the 4-minute mile. That's somebody breaking through a certain level of consciousness or unconsciousness. And let me tell you, no drug, no radiation, no surgery, no diet was changing their condition. And they realized that nothing changes in our life until we change. And when you change, your life should change. So I want to give people the tools to actually experiment with it to see if it's the truth.